Whitetail Insights, brought to you by the QDMA, the Quality Deer Management Association, ensuring the future of whitetail deer.
You know, I've often said, I've probably said it too many times, that the only way to 100% accurately age a deer that's walking is with the history on that deer through encounters and trail cameras. But you can get pretty close with aging those deer based on their characteristics to what age class they're in, and I know that's something that you've specialized and spent a lot of time learning about over the years.
You can, and it's in addition to being helpful to try to understand how old a deer is, it's a lot of fun. And just like humans, deer go through specific body changes as they mature. For instance, length of the legs and depth of the chest, neck. So it's not an exact science. So you can't look at a deer and say it's definitely 1 or 2 or 5 or 6, but with a little practice and understanding the characteristics in the area where you live, you certainly can get very close.
That's really what you need, right? You need a young deer, you know, a middle-aged deer, or an old deer, and that's, you know, that gives you enough data on a deer that you don't have history with to have a starting point.
It does, and you can take a look at, for instance, yearling deer or those bucks that are 1.5 years old. You know, their legs look too long for their body, their necks are very thin, their waists are really tight, and they essentially look like a doe with antlers. So by 2.5, they start to grow up a little bit. Their hind ends are often still larger than their front end. Legs still look too long for their body because it's still just a young animal. You know, they're trying to get as tall as they can. A little bit of swelling in the neck during the rut, but still a very lanky animal and not very muscular yet. But by 3.5, they start to grow up. So now their chest is heavier than their hindquarters. The legs look about the right length for the body. They still have a tight waist, but they have a big chest and a lot more swelling in the neck during the rut. By 4.5, they have that big chest, but now their hindquarters look about as heavy as the front end. So they're heavy in the front, that waist drops down so that they're balanced between the front and back. Now you're starting to see some tremendous swelling in that neck during the rut and just a lot more powerful shoulders. And each year that they get older, that neck hooks a little lower on their chest. So young animals, there's a big separation and you see that brisket way out. Each year it hooks a little lower. By 5.5, now legs look too short for the body. They haven't gotten shorter, it's just the chest and the waist have dropped down so much. That's right. Tremendous swelling in the neck during the rut, very powerful shoulders, and the neck almost blends smoothly right in with the brisket. And then after that, it becomes a lot more difficult because they just don't change that much. By 6.5, you see a lot of those, that big rounded belly. You often will start to see a little bit of a shoulder hump. So is it exactly 6? Is it really 7? It becomes difficult, and that's where you really need the history that you're talking about, which you absolutely with practice can break deer into at least 3 age groups.
But once they're in that age group, you know, once he's in that 6, 7-year-old age group, you know, like knowing exactly if he's 8 or 9 is really...
He's fully mature.
Fully mature, right? And that's, you know, like you said, it's not an exact science, but it narrows it down to what you know, realistically what you need to know to help you. If you want the exact age of that deer, you have the trail camera history of that deer year after year after year in the encounters, then you can put the exact age on it. And I even tested Kip a little bit last night, you know, with some deer that we had history on. He's pretty good, and he's right, I'll tell you.
But the body characteristics will tell you so much more than the antlers.
Right.
Antlers will fool you.
Yeah.
Look at the body characteristics, you'll be a much better estimator of it.
Absolutely.
This Whitetail Insight is brought to you by the Quality Deer Management Association. Become a member and ensure the future of whitetail deer.